Hey everybody, welcome to the GMG review. Today we're taking a look at the latest Codex for Warhammer 40,000, the Chaos Knights. This is basically the heretic equivalent of the Imperial Knights Codex. It's not super long. The page count for this one is, oh geez, what are we at?
70.
70, 71? Yeah, 72 with your tactical objectives for your whatchamacallit, your Maelstrom of War. But this book is pretty much identically composed. Instead of having Questoris Imperialis or Questoris Mechanicum, you have the Infernal Houses and you have the Iconoclast Houses, which are, you're either trucking with demons or you're not trucking with demons. And from there, you have your sort of like split of capabilities. But unlike the Imperial Knights book, there aren't houses defined in here. And so you have less relics because you don't have any of the house-specific traits and relics and stuff like that. And also you have less traits because there's 12 houses total, 6 Mechanicum and 6 Imperialis in the Knights book. There's not that in here, so there's a little bit less stuff. So I'll give you a flip through, give you an idea what you can expect. I believe there's also a Renegade Knight Kit coming out. We've seen some sprue pictures online, which will allow you to make a Renegade Knight, but for certain weapons, and they are actually outlined in here, and options of like classes of Knights, you do have to buy the Imperial kits, and then use the bits from the Renegade Knight Kit to make them. So for all your armigers, there's like decorations and stuff that come in this box. Kind of like the old Space Wolf sprue, where you can make like your Wolf Scouts.
The Genestealer sprue.
Yeah, Genestealer sprue. You can make all the guys out of like the same box. Same thing for this one. And the Renegade Knight box makes like your bog standard Rampager or Despoiler, and then gives you bits to make all of your big talent
gives
class
them the
guys.
extra knee joint.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever else you want to have. So there's not even that many data sheets. And that was actually our first kind of like alarm bell. Because your thing was like, so all of them are on the Despoiler data sheet? Because you basically make all of the regular classes of Knights from the Imperial ones out of the Despoiler class, and that means that you're sitting on the rule of 3, right? Because you can only have 3 of anything now in 40k with the rule of 3. That means you can only really have 3 multi-kit out Knights. But then they pulled out the Gallon equivalent, the Rampager, made him a little bit pricier, but he has his own data sheet, so you can still have
6.
3 mix and match Knights, and then 3 like melee Knights, and then your War Dogs and your Tyrants and stuff. And the Preceptor equivalent too, who's a separate Knight as well. So yeah, talking about the Trader Houses, talking about what happened during the Horus Heresy to make everybody mad and sad and feeling bad. What's that?
They say don't buy the Precursor one because the laser gun you get on the sprue for this is his gun.
Is his gun, that's right.
Which is why you don't get that one, because you get the base Knight.
Right.
And then you're not buying a Guardsman.
Got it. Exactly.
That's why it was. I was trying to figure out why Warhammer community had said it, and that makes sense now.
And you're not getting like a little human dude hanging out there too. So yeah, the Iconoclast Houses, so things like you get a bit of story and background for these guys who don't truck with the demons, but are renegade and dedicated to chaos. House Herpetrex. There's a Herpes house.
Awesome.
Herpetrex. House Herpes. Which will forever.
I mean, there's clearly Nurgle.
Yep. House Chimere, who are clearly kind of corn. Infernal Houses. So House Vextrus. These are the ones that are trucking with demons. House Comentis. And the Dreadblades, which are the Freeblade equivalent. So there is a Freeblade equivalent in here as well. And they have like a similar system of like vows and ups and downs basically that you pick.
There's a lot
more
of
houses. There's a bunch of houses, yeah. And then the Fallen Night Worlds, much like the Genestealers, they just seem to be everywhere. So
not as much as the Genestealers.
I guess
the Genestealers, like every world was touched by
every world
Genestealers.
had like a Genestealer world. It's true. They're a little bit everywhere. So like you've got like Gerontius, Oma 3. There's a lot of Fallen Night worlds. And then there's Loyalist ones here too. So like Forge worlds, Fallen Forge worlds, Dark Mechanicum worlds, Imperial Knight worlds, which are like the Eagle, and then the other ones are the Chaos and the Eagle, which is neat. And of course, on the left and right side of the Cicatrix Maledictorum, you have the different sides. So this is the ones that have Terra nearby and the ones that don't.
No, you got that backwards.
Did I get it backwards? Oh, sorry. Yeah, Soul's on this side. That's right. And then Ultima's the one with Macragge on the other side. And then we got Sagas of Destruction. So like this is that timeliney bit where they go through and tell the stories of the various things that have happened with Chaos Knights. The cover of Knight Renegade, that makes sense for this to be in here. Why would you not have the cover of the thing that... I would really like to see them repackage this box set with one of the Renegade Knights in it. I think that'd be really cool.
Then you can give them
because then you could use this box basically for either of the two armies.
Because that's how you can tell whether someone's good or bad. Do they have a second joint at their knee?
extra knee joints, and also beat up faceplates is the other part of it. And then just a definition of all of the knight classes, like the Renegade Knight Houses. So the Knight Desecrator, which is the Preceptor equivalent, the Rampager, which is the Gallant equivalent that isn't the Despoiler version, and then Corrupted Knights. So the Despoiler, the Tyrants, and the War Dogs, who are the Armigers, basically, for the bad guys. Heraldry of the Fallen, lots of nice color sections for the various Knight Houses. Big.
Did you like those standalone Renegade Knights? Because here's the art and brought to life, rather.
Right. And well, here's the cool thing. So like you can see here, this is not that Knight kit. This is actually Imperial bits. Like that's the Imperial legs. They don't have their own plates for the big guy. It's just these are the Imperial legs, and they've glued on some hooks and some chains, and that's it. So the Chaos Tyrant class, the big guy, is really just a spiky version of the standard one. He's not even that different. He's just got some spikes on him. Whereas this is the actual Renegade kit where you've got like the crazy helmets, the chained up shields, the totally different greaves and legs and stuff.
He's got 2 knees.
He's got 2 knees.
That's how you can tell he's bad. Haven't you watched a 90s sci-fi?
I
Aliens with 2 knees are bad.
It's true. 2 knees, 2 aliens are not.
There's no good 2-kneed aliens.
There's the dude from Renegade.
That's why he has 1 knee.
He's got 1 knee. That's right, because he's an old knight. And then these guys have the 2 knees. I do like the big chainsaw.
You'll never
you
not
got.
see it again.
Yeah, this is the Desecrator, who is the Preceptor version with his big laser. I like the chainsaw. It's got like a big hook on the end too for grabbing stuff and pulling it down. What else we got? The Dreadlance of Decima, which are all made up of like different weird corrupted knights, and then the Dreaded Host. So Questor Traitoris. This is your army thing. You give the Questor Traitoris either Infernal Household or Iconoclast Household choices. So you got to pick one or the other. And then Dreadblades, they're your version of Free Blades. If the unit is a War Dog unit containing 2 more models, only those Chaos models nominated as Dreadblades retain the Dreadblade keyword. So you can give it to War Dogs. Any Chaos Knight can be a Dreadblade, regardless if it owes allegiance to Infernal or Iconoclast. And if you do so, it gets that keyword, which is pretty cool. And then Chaos Knight miniatures, it says, Chaos Knights are based on the chassis of Imperial Knights, and to build some variants, you will need Imperial Knight kits. To build a War Dog, you need either the Armiger Helverin or Armiger Warglaves kit. To build a Knight Despoiler, you need a Knight Warden kit. To build a Knight Tyrant, you will need a Knight Castellan or Knight Valiant kit. So you do need to have some extra bits and pieces, basically, to make some of these things. Then we get the War Dog. He's just an Armiger that can be armed either way. So he's exactly the same as an Armiger. He has a War Dog autocannon, which is the same as an Armiger autocannon. And the difference is that you can mix the squadron. So if you take a squadron of them, they're not just Armiger Helverins or Armiger, the base Armiger guy. You can switch back and forth, basically. Any model can be equipped with 2 War Dog autocannons instead of 1 Thermal Spear and 1 Reaper Chain Cleaver, and any model can take a Meltagun instead of a Heavy Stubber. And that's it. Exact same thing. Vehicle Squadron, Ion Shield. Your Knight Despoiler. So this is the any class Knight data sheet. The one that's like, you can basically be a Paladin or whatever. And you can mix and match guns all you want. So Knight Despoiler is a single model equipped with a Heavy Stubber, Reaper Chain Sword, Thunderstrike Gauntlet, and Titanic Feet. And he is exactly the same as an Imperial Knight. The only difference is this model can be equipped with one of the following: an Iron Storm Missile Pod, Stormstream Rocket Pod, or a Twin Icarus autocannon. And this model can be equipped with one of the following instead of its Thunderstrike Gauntlet. So Arm A can be an Avenger, an Avenger and Heavy Flamer, a Rapid Fire Battle Cannon, Heavy Stummer, or a Thermal Cannon. And then instead of the Reaper Chain Sword, the exact same thing. So you can give them double anything. Double Rapid Fire Battle Cannons, double Avengers. It's pretty sweet.
Double Thermal Cannon. Every time.
You think so?
Why not? Then you just step on people. You go Iconoclast, you bring 2 of these, you
the
run at them.
Thermal pretty good. I don't know, man. It's because it skews armor to not armor, right? It skews, and the Rapid Fire Battle Cannon's in the middle.
You bring Stompy Feet,
Double
every time you
Battle
kill
Cannon's pretty cool.
10 people, and then you bring lasers.
But 24 shots all the time with the
Yes.
two Avengers is pretty legit. I think I would take that.
I mean, it is the one that they keep talking about.
Especially with being able to take an Infernal House. You'll see later on, you can up a gun, increase its damage, make it really good.
Yep.
And yeah, Engine of Destruction. So if this model is equipped with a Reaper Chain Sword or a Thunderstrike Gauntlet, add 1 to its attack characteristic and improve its weapon skill by 1. So you basically make a Gallant. He doesn't get the Rampager's special Rampager skill though. So there is like a trade-off there. If you're going to take him as a Knight Despoiler, he's a bit more expensive. No, so he's a bit cheaper actually than the Rampager is, but he still gets to have 5 attacks and a 2+ weapon skill.
Yep.
And that's pretty awesome because if you take
bring 6.
Well, if you take Iconoclasts, they get the Hunter's Unleashed rule from Space Wolves, where you're +1 attack and also -1 AP to your melee attacks. Any turn you charge, were charged, or heroically intervene.
But it's only with the chain weapons. It's not his stomps.
No, that's the Rampage. No, it is the stomps.
Oh,
The
okay.
Rampage is the one that he gets his exploding 6s with his chain.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So the Knight Despoiler can charge in with 6 attacks, which turns into 18 attacks, hitting on 2s at 8 -3 D3. And you still have full tilt as one of your strategies in here too. You will just mulch almost any unit.
Yep.
Which is pretty awesome, hitting on 2s. You don't get the exploding 6s, but like it's awesome. And then you have there's that one, I think it's a strategy, or is it I think it's either a strategy or it's a trait where you get +1 attack for every 10 guys you kill.
Yeah, I don't remember which one it is. I think it's a trait, but we'll see when you get there.
He gets super freaky, basically. He becomes even more murdery. And so that's your mix and match stat line, which already existed. Like, this was the one that you had basically from the chapter-approved thing. Your Knight Tyrant, which is your big boy, and he is exactly the same. But he doesn't get to swap guns and mix and match, because I was really hoping to be able to go like, I've got cannon, volcano cannon, like conflagration cannon, volcano cannon, but you can't. You swap them both.
Or just
something.
2 conflagation cannons.
Yeah, that's right, double conflagration cannon.
Yeah, there are other
and just
choices.
break the game.
But I took the Avenger Gatling Cannon upped edition.
The 2d6 auto hits one.
The 3d6 auto hit one.
Sorry, 3d6 auto.
That's right.
Yeah.
And stronger.
And better. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And so he's exactly the same as either one, the Castellan or the Valiant, with his ability to swap.
But he's only one data sheet.
He's only one data sheet, so you can take up to 3. It's true. Yeah,
Can't bring 5.
It's true. You
For
couldn't.
all of the people who are.
These are a lot of points, though. This is like a 500-600 point model, so you were never going to bring more than 3 of the big guys. They're crazy expensive. But the little guys, you might take 3 of, because he's only 305 points to stab. So you got your Knight Desecrator. He's your what's the equivalent? The Preceptor, I think. Where he has the Laser Destructor, the Reaper Chainsword, and Titanic Feet, and he can give a Thunderstrike Gauntlet instead of a Reaper Chainsword. He's got his Taskmaster. Reroll hit rolls of 1 for all the War Dogs within 6 of them. So he leads War Dog units, which is pretty cool. Rerolling hits for 1. I mean, it's the problem with taking the War Dogs is you lose the 6 CP bonus for being a full detachment. You have to have Titanic guys, 3 Titanic guys. So like, it's cool. You can make a cheap unit with a Desecrator.
They don't count as Titanic?
They're not Titanic. You can't fall back and shoot. They're not. They're Lords of War, but they don't have the Titanic rule because they're basically like sized, right?
If you wanted to only play knights, you could bring 3 fighting knights, this guy, and some war dogs.
You could, yeah, absolutely.
And then he chills back with his laser destructor and the dogs shooting.
You give them the autocans, I think. Yeah. And sit back with them.
And then you just rush in with the other 3.
Because the laser destructor is still pretty cool. Heavy D3, 14 minus 4 D6. And then a wound roll of 6+ gives D3 mortal wounds on top of it. It's a pretty cool gun. For a standoff and shoot guy. And yeah, you take the Helverin equivalent of the War Dogs and have him just be like, let's reroll all our guns. Let's do this.
Yep.
Make the murders. Got our Rampager. So the Rampager is exactly the same equipment and stat line as a Despoiler with a Thunderstrike Gauntlet and a Reaper Chainsword. But you can't buy him anything else. He can't even have like a missile pod, like a backpack gun, basically. But he does get Frenzied Rampage, which is a different rule. When resolving an attack made by a Reaper Chainsword or Thunderstrike Gauntlet, an unmodified hit roll of 6 scores an additional hit. So he gets a bonus one. But he doesn't get it on his tramples. Because we thought initially maybe you could get it on your tramples, and you can't. And that would have been really good. Because you'd have 18 attacks if he was an Iconoclast hitting on 2s with exploding 6s.
Probably getting 3 or 4 more hits a turn. Yeah.
Just like mulching dudes. It doesn't make an additional attack, though. It makes additional hits, because every additional attack would be 3 additional attacks. He's pretty cool, though. Other than that, he's exactly the same as a knight with a fist and a chainsword. Got our gun stats.
They're all the same guns.
Yeah, they're identical to all the Imperial equivalents. More color sections.
More pictures.
And here's the important stuff. The Might of the Fallen Houses. So if your army's battle-forward, Chaos Knight detachments, excluding super heavy auxiliaries, gain all the following rules. You get the Traitorous Lances. So once you muster your army, select 1 model in each Chaos Knight Super Heavy detachment. Each selected model gains the character keyword. In addition, the command benefit for each Chaos Knight Super Heavy detachment is changed to none if it does not contain at least 1 Chaos Knight's Titanic unit. So you still get it. You get 3. You just don't get the 6 if it's 3 Titanic units. That's why you get 9.
But it only requires at least 1.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is so if you have the Helverin, or sorry, like the 2 Helverins and the Preceptor, you would get 3 for it still. So you get to 12 CPs basically if you
6.
took like no. So
maybe I'm misunderstanding.
It changes to +6 command points if it contains at least 3 Chaos Knight Titanic units.
Oh, I see.
So so the Preceptor and 2 Little Dogs make 3 if you're taking a super heavy detachment, and the 3 Big Knights take, and it doesn't have to be Tyrants, it could just be any Titanic class Knights, give you the bonus of +3. +6, sorry, +6, yeah. +6. +3 to the 3 initial that every super heavy detachment is. So, I mean, yes, you could take melee knights and then take a Preceptor and some War Dogs and have 12 CPs, which is pretty great for all the, because they have almost the same exact stable of
CP
strats.
abilities. Yeah.
So like they can unlock the
with the exception
characters.
of the like faction specific ones.
Right. They can unlock all of the additional characters by taking like a court, basically a household, Infernal Household. And they can also do the additional heirlooms. So you can spend 6 up front to have 3 characters. Actually, sorry, you'd have 2 base. So you could give out additional relics out without having to buy the additional characters. You just wouldn't get additional warlord traits without spending the CPs. Because each detachment gets 1 character. So you would be able to hand a relic out to somebody else.
Right.
And then these are the 2 ambitions. So this is your either Questor Imperialis or Questor Mechanicum versions, basically, for this book. And it's Conquerors Without Mercy for the Iconoclasts. If a model with this ambition made a heroic move, was charged or performed a heroic intervention, add 1 to their attacks and -1 to their armor penetration for their melee weapons until the end of the turn. In addition, when an enemy unit fails a morale test within 12, an additional model flees. Because they're scary, rampaging murder dudes. And then the Infernal Household ambition, and this is the one when you check out the battle report we play, this is when I tried out, because I thought it was really cool. At the start of your movement phase, each model with this ambition can use a Demonic Surge. If a model uses a Demonic Surge, it suffers a mortal wound, and you roll a D3 on this table. Or you can take D3 mortal wounds and pick something from the table. And it all lasts until your next movement phase. So on a 1, Demonic Hunger, add 2 to the model's move characteristic and add 1 to advance rolls and charge rolls. On a 2, Demonic Fortitude, add 1 to your toughness. Being toughness 9 is legit.
Yep.
And then 3 Demonic Power. Select 1 range weapon this model is equipped with and add 1 to its strength and damage. And boy, is an Avenger Gatling Cannon that's strength 7 and 3 damage. Real good. It's super sweet. So these are the 2. You have to pick one of these paths basically for your army when you're deploying it, and then from there on, that's going to unlock really nothing else. So you have Ion Aegis. That's the same one where the Dominus class guys, the Tyrants, can extend their force field, their Ion Shield out 6 inches until the start of your next turn. Friendly Chaos models have a 5 invul save against ranged weapons, whilst their unit is wholly within 6 of that model. So nice little handout 5 up invuls. Spiteful Demise. This is the same as the blow yourself up ability of the Imperial Knights. It's spend 2 CPs when they're destroyed. On a 4+ you explode. If it's a Tyrant, it's if you roll your 2d6, and if it's either one's a 4+, then units within 3d6 are effective. If both are 4+, within 3d6. If one, it's 2d6. So you blow yourself up for 2 CPs, and it's on a 4 instead of a 6. Thunderstomp, same as the Imperial Knights one. Scattered Protocol, same as the Imperial one. Rotate Ion Shields.
Same thing.
1 or 3, and it's use this stratagem if it's a Chaos Knights model. If it's a Tyrant, it costs 3. Until the end of the turn, your bonus saves improved by 1 to a max of 4+. Now, this one doesn't really care about the max 4+. Is there a way for Chaos units to get +1 invul at all?
Not if you're not a demon.
Not if you're not a demon. That's what I thought. Because I thought that the Warpsmiths, the Master Possession only affects demonic units, and these guys don't get the demon tag.
Even the demony ones.
Even the ones that are demonically surged don't get the demon tag. I think that would open up some shenanigans. You get your Corrupted Heirlooms, 1 or 3. It's giving you the additional character folks. And then they get additional relics as well. It makes characters and gives them out at the same time, which is cool. And then Tyrannical Court, use this stratagem before the battle. After nominating your Warlord, select 1 Knight Despoiler, Knight Tyrant, or Abhorrent class model from your army that's not your Warlord for 1, or 2 for 3, and they gain the character plus a Warlord trait. You can only use the stratagem once per battle. So you get the ability to make exactly the same as the Imperial ones, 2 extra characters, and 4 extra characters between the 2 strats, and have 2 extra Warlord traits, and also 2 extra relics. Honestly, I don't know if you're going to do it as often with this one, because there's not as many good traits.
Yep.
The relic one I can see you doing. The traits one, I don't know if I would. Because except for the +1 attack one and the Haunted Hall, where you get the 5 save against psychic powers and you get to deny the witch ones. We'll talk about that in a minute. there's not that many to pick from because you don't have 7, right? Because you
Yeah.
always have 7 with your household basically for the Imperials. Pack dogs, same as the Imperial one. Use a stratagem when a Questor or Traitorous War Dog model finishes a charge move until the end of the phase. You can reroll charge rolls for other War Dogs if they're within 12. Chain Sweep, same as the Imperial one. Death Grip, same as the Imperial one. Demonic Guidance System, same as the Imperial version with the missiles. Your Shieldbreaker missiles can shoot characters even if you can't see them. Full Tilt, same as the Imperial one. 2 CPs. Use a stratagem at the start of the charge phase. They can advance and have charged. 1 CP Devastating Reach. Again, same thing. You're jump in, reach into a building basically and fight somebody. Titanic Duel, this one's cool. Within an inch of another Titanic unit, one of your Chaos Knights, both players secretly choose a number between 1 and 3, so you hide it in a die. If the numbers are the same when you reveal them, you get no bonus, but if the numbers are different, each of you gets that many additional attacks that fight phase, but you have to target each other. So you get into like a scrap basically with the big Titan guy. And if you're charging, 3 extra, you'd always pick 3.
I mean, you might pick 2 so that you'd actually get it if you're charging.
But I think your opponent probably doesn't think to pick 3 because you're the ones going to be thinking about this. They're not. I would just always pick 3 because I think I always pull the I know you know what I'm thinking, boy, the Homer Simpson thing where
if I was charging, I'd always pick 2.
You think so?
And if I was receiving a charge, I would pick 3.
Right.
Because then, if I have a less advantage to them when I charge them, then that's fine because I'm still going first.
Yeah.
And if they're charging me, I don't mind them getting a bit of an advantage if I have a lot more of an advantage.
Because 2 is actually 6 if you're trampling.
Right?
And that's a huge deal.
And defensively, if you survive, you'll take damage, but 3 will turn to 9.
Right. That's true. That makes sense. Yep. And then Trail of Destruction, use a stratagem with a Chaos Knights model from your army fires Overwatch or chooses to shoot or fight with, or is chosen to shoot or fight with. Until the end of the phase, when resolving an attack made by that model, you can reroll the hit roll. So you just reroll all your hits until the end of that phase for 2 CPs. So you can do it with Overwatch. You can do it with just the fight phase for 2 CPs. Yeah. So you just choose or fight like anytime for 2 CPs. Just reroll your hits. It's real good.
Or is chosen to shoot or fight.
Yep. This is all the time. 2 CPs, reroll all your hits. And I mean, if you got a lot of guns, that can be a legit.
Like 2 Gattlers.
Like 2 Gattlers. Double Gatler, 24 rerolling the hits.
Here's the 2 specific ones for the pages though, or
That's
4
right, yes.
I suppose.
So these are the ones now that you actually have to choose either Iconoclast or Infernal. So break the enemy line. This is Iconoclast ones. We'll go through those first. 2 CPs. Use stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Select 1 enemy unit within 1 inch of any Iconoclast household models from your army that made a charge move that turn until the end of that phase. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by an Iconoclast household model, you can reroll the hit roll. So there's another reason to go Iconoclast and all melee dudes.
Yep.
So you just reroll hits. 18 attacks on the charge.
And because this is a different ability, you can use the other 2.1 to reroll the hit with 1 knight, and then use this one as well.
And if you have 12 CPs...
That you can use 4 of them that turn.
2 of those knights.
But 2 of those knights are rerolling everything to hit in melee.
2s.
On 2s. Yeah.
And then then
on 6s.
If I'm rerolling to hits, I will actually use like my Thunderstrike Gauntlet in my thing. I'm fighting something.
Roll for 6s.
You know what I mean? You might as well roll for it. Yeah, exactly. And then you got your Vow of Carnage for 1 CP. Use the stratagem before the battle. Select 1 Iconoclast household model from your army to declare a Vow of Carnage until the end of the battle. This is the one. Keep a tally of models destroyed. Adding 1 to their attack characteristic for every 10 models destroyed. This model cannot be selected for the Vow of Dominance or any Vow of the Beastslayer stratagems. You can only use this once per battle. So this is the one where like the more guys you kill, the more fight you get.
Yeah.
The Vow of Dominance. This is again before the battle. Select an Iconoclast household model from your army to declare this vow. Until the end of the battle, when resolving an attack made by this model, unmodified wound roll of 1, 2, or 3 always fails. This is one where like you basically can only ever be wounded at best on a 4+, which is pretty legit.
Yeah, anyone with +1 to wound, this messes with them pretty badly.
Pretty badly, that's right. Yeah, it just doesn't do anything all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Vow of the Beastslayer. Use this before the battle. Select 1 Iconoclast household model from your army and declare the Vow of the Beastslayer until the end of the battle when resolving an attack made by that model against an enemy unit that contains any models with a wound characteristic of 8 or higher. Reroll a wound roll of 1. So if you're 8 or more wounds, you roll wounds of 1. That model cannot be selected for Vows of Carnage or Vows of Dominance. So each guy can only take 1 vow, basically.
Yep.
But that's a cool one for, like, let's say you do take the 3 Despoilers with melee weapons.
Honestly, you just put all 3 of these on them.
I don't know if I would take it on him. I think I would take that on the Preceptor that's leading the War Dogs. Because I wouldn't... Oh, no, but you can't make them. Because I would make them Infernals. Because then the War Dogs could all gain bonuses.
No, they don't get anything.
They don't?
No, it's they're auxiliary ones. If you go back a few pages...
Oh, they're not Titanic?
It's,
is it only Titanic guys?
Keep
How was
going.
anybody? No, it's right here.
It was... If your army is Battleforged, detachments excluding super heavy detachments gain the following abilities.
Well, they've all got it.
Lances and...
Yeah, they would get this
Yeah.
ambition. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Each model with this ambition. So you get a traitor ambition. It's either one. So you'd be...
Units in a Chaos Knights. If every unit has the Iconoclast keyword. Yeah, I guess. If they have a keyword, then they would get it.
Because it means you could boost... You have strength 8 damage for
Autocannons. Yeah.
which
there you go.
is pretty crazy cool. So then we've got our Infernal ones. So for 2 CPs, bind the souls of the defeated. Use a stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Select one Infernal Household model from your army until the end of that phase. When an enemy model is destroyed as a result of an attack made with melee weapons by a selected model, roll 4+. They get a wound back. Each model can regain up to 6 wounds as a result of the stratagem in the same phase. So, yeah.
18 stomps, reroll all the hit. Every time he kills 10 guys, he gets an attack. And half the time he kills them, they get a wound back.
But that's if you don't go Iconoclast.
Oh, that's right. You can't get the attacks and the
both.
moves.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can't get both these things. For 3, Pact with the Dark Gods. Use this when an Infernal Household model from your army is destroyed but didn't explode. Roll a d6 at the end of the phase. On a 4+, they return to play with d3 wounds remaining. Place against close as possible to the previous position and more than 1 inch away from any models. So, but you can use it more than once per battle, just not by the same model. So you just come back to life.
And what's
with
more
D3.
is it's the end of the phase, so they can't
They
continue
can't
to
kill
attack
you again.
you.
Yeah, they can't kill you again. That's right. On a 4+, you just come back. 1 CP, Demonic Ammunition. Use this stratagem before the battle. Select a Chaos Knights attachment from your army. Until the end of the battle, Heavy Stubbers have a strength characteristic of 5. So you could, for 1 CP, you can make all your War Dogs Heavy Stubbers strength 5. It's kind of cool. And then Diabolic Rift for 2 CP. Use stratagem at the start of your opponent's psychic phase until the end of that phase when a psychic test is taken for any model within 12 inches of any Chaos Knights Infernal Household models from the army. That enemy suffers a perils on any dice roll instead of a double 1.
Yeah, you just perils.
6. You just
If you're within
auto-perils.
12, you cast, you perils.
What?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Just auto peril. Why not?
Yep.
So there you go. So you get 4 total for the 2 different paths. Again, there's no houses, so you're not going to get the additional 12 that you would have in the Imperial book.
You do get 4.
That gives you a total of 5, 10, 13, and then the 4 for the side that you pick, unless you do 2 detachments. So it's a decent amount, but again, not quite as many. And then Dreadblade, Pacts and Damnations. So this is if you choose to take a Dreadblade. This is the version of a free blade. So if your army's Battleforged, then before the battle, you can give 1 Dreadblade model in each attachment Pacts of Damnation. To give a model a Pact of Damnation, Pacts and Damnations. First, either select 1 pact from the table below or roll 2d6 randomly and generate 2 packs. So you can do, again, you can do 2 randoms or 1 pick. I think I'd always do randoms.
Yeah, why not?
2. Why not? So Path to Glory is number 1. Resolving attack against characters with Titanic units, you roll the hit roll. Thunderous Charge. After this model finishes a charge move, roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within 1. For each 4+, take d3 mortal wounds. Demonic Vigor. When this pact is chosen or generated, roll a d6. On a 1 to 3, add 2 to the model's move. On a 4 to 5, improve their weapon skill by 1. On a 6, improve their bliss skill by 1. So that's cool. I mean, if you're already hitting on 2s, if you're
I think you're mostly fishing
man.
for the movement.
Yeah.
Or the 6s, the bliss skill. Because I mean, if you got that with movement and then you went for the mutation for the movement, you're suddenly like moving
18.
16 plus 6 or
16,
plus
yeah.
4 more on top of that.
Yeah, so you take Infernals, because you can still be an Infernal and also be a Dreadblade.
Yeah, and so you're moving 16 and you charge on 2d6 plus 1.
That's pretty cool. Knower of Profane Secrets. Add 1 to their leadership at the start of the first battle round. If any models in your army with this pact are on the battlefield, you gain a command point. So you basically just
That's a
get command
7
point.
on turn 1, 24 inches apart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you just get +1 to charge rolls. Or reroll charge rolls, I think.
No, it's +1 to advance or charges with the 1 roll.
That's right, yeah.
The one that gives you the other +2.
Galvanized Hull. When resolving an attack made with a weapon with an armor penetration characteristic of -1 against this model, it counts as 0.
It's your anti-ogre fist.
Anti-Ogre Fist, anti-autocannons, and anti-heavy bolters. Archfiend. This model can perform heroic interventions if it was a character. They can do so as enemies within 6 and can move 6 when doing so instead of 3. That's pretty cool. And then you've got your Damnations. So if any Dreadblades from your army have any Damnations, roll 2d6 for each of them as sort of your turns. Subtract 1 from their result if they have the Forsaken Damnation. If the result is less than the Dreadblade's leadership characteristic, their Damnation does not apply. Otherwise, they apply until the start of the turn. So you can either select 2 or roll once. Again, I think I would just roll once. I don't even know if I'd pick 2.
Number one's great. I think it's better than anything. Like,
Forsaken. While this stratagem applies, this model cannot be affected by stratagems, including the command reroll stratagem to reroll the dice this model. It means the enemy can't affect him either.
yeah,
You can't target him with stratagems.
he's just a guy on the board. You got to deal with his stats.
You
You
deal
got
with
no
them raw
abilities to
stats
deal with
wise.
them.
Yeah, it's
no
true.
no fun cards.
Warp Rage. When this damnation applies, the model cannot fall back and has a bonus skill characteristic of 6. Volatile Reactor. When this damnation applies, roll 1d6 at the end of each phase, in which this model loses any wounds but wasn't destroyed, and a 4+ take additional wound. And then Warp Fugue. While this damnation applies, this model always fights last in the fight phase, even if this charged or has an ability that would make it fight first. Single-Minded Hatred. Whilst this damnation applies, in your shooting phase, a unit can only be targeted by this model if it's the closest enemy unit that can be visible to. Sorry, by this model, if it's the... so you can only shoot the closest thing. In your charge phase, the unit can only be selected as a target of a charge by this model if it's the closest enemy unit. So you have to go near the closest thing. And then Defiant Machine Spirit. While this damnation applies, when advanced roll or charge roll is made for this model, subtract 1 from the result, and when resolving an attack made by this model, subtract 1 from the hit roll. That's the one you don't want.
No,
That's the bad one. But I mean, if you pass a leadership check, you're leadership 9 normally, you're fine. And we got our artifacts. So once again, artifacts and then warlord traits. I don't think any of the artifacts are related to Iconoclast or
Infernal?
Infernal.
Except for this one.
Oh, the first two are. The first two are. There you go. Sorry, I'm looking at this page right now. I thought they'd be at the end. They're right at the beginning. So there's 2 then. It's just the Blasphemous Engine. So Infernal, and this is the one I actually used. Infernal Household model only. A model of this drug is considered to have double the number of wounds remaining for the purpose of deferring. So basically, you're a Hawkshroud. You're a Hawkshroud Knight.
Yep.
And that was the one I used actually in our game that we played. And then Veil of Moyorengard. For the Iconoclasts, you get a 4+ invul against range weapons. So it's your...
Rotate Ion Shields forever.
No, it's called something. It's a warlord trait in the Knight's book.
I thought that was +1 to save.
No, that's the Armor of Sainted Ion, which is a relic. There's a 2+ save relic, and there's a 4+ save warlord trait. It's a relic here, though, for the 4+ invul. Coordinate targets. Once per bout, sort of the fight phase, a model with this relic can activate it. When it does so until the end of the phase, invulnerable saves cannot be made against attacks made with melee weapons by that model, and invul saves cannot be made by that model. So you don't get invuls? Khorne just goes, everyone dies. So
could be worth it.
It could be worth it for sure. If you're already in melee, you don't get invul anyway for the most part. So why not try? And then this is the other one I tried, the Zinchian Pyro Throne. I really like this one. A model with this relic gains the Psyker keyword. It can attempt to manifest 1 Psychic Power in your Psychic phase, attempt to deny 1 in your opponent's Psychic phase. If that model has the Warp Haunted Hull Warlord trait, it can attempt to deny 2. It knows Smite. If that model is destroyed as a result of perils, do not roll any dice for that model's explodes or dual plasma core explosion ability.
You didn't auto-explode.
It automatically explodes as if 1/6 had been rolled.
If it was destroyed as of a result of perils.
Oh,
not just
shoot.
dying.
It's funny because I actually rolled on camera, though, and did get a 6. So it would have still exploded. Sorry, I did not read that part. Result of perils or not rolling models. So, okay.
So don't perils. Or try to perils. Whichever way you want to look at it.
That's right, yeah. I did blow up, though. We did roll dice, and I still got that 6. So Helm of Warp Sight, Knight Rampager, Knight Desecrator, or Knight Disposer model only. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model with this relic, ignore hit roll modifiers. I think that's the same. I think they haven't. There's actually Knight Relics exactly the same.
I like how that's the same name as the one in the Chaos book, but the Chaos book is -1 of your BS, but does the same thing.
It does the same thing, literally.
It's like, wow. Okay, sure.
The Diamonis, model equipped with a laser destructor, it replaces it. Range 60, heavy 3, so it doesn't have a random number of shots. And then
That's
strength
literally
16.
It's just not a random number of shots.
Strength 14 normally, I'm pretty sure. So it's higher strength too. Strength 16 minus 4d6. I'm pretty sure the
I mean, I would bring it. I'd bring it every time.
Strength 16 is a big cutoff because like all of a sudden you're wounding things on 2s.
Except for I was thinking that that Knight trait that gives you 1, 2s, and 3s don't work. He's actually made for melee. He wants to go fight other Titans.
He wants to go fight other dudes.
They're only ever winning him on 4s.
Yeah, it's 14 normally.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, so it's worth taking just for being +2 strength.
And flat 3.
And flat 3. And does the same 6 to wound, does D3 mortals in addition to any other damage. And then you got the Tyrant's Banner, Knight Rampager, Knight Desecrator, Knight Disposer only. List the model of this relics within 6 of any friendly Chaos units. Add 1 to the leadership characteristic of each of those units. At the start of your turn, if your army is Battleforged and has a model from your army with this relic is on the battlefield, roll 1d6 on a 5+, you gain a command point. That's pretty cool. The Teeth That Hunger, it's a Reaper Chainsword, and it is +8 strength, so you'd be strength 16, -4 damage, -4 AP, and 6 damage. And then when the bear fights, make an additional attack. At the end of the battle round, if no enemy models were destroyed as a result of attacks from this weapon, roll a d6. On a 1, you take a wound. It gets mad and fights you. Rune of Naktagra. Dreadblade model only, so there's a Dreadblade specific relic. A model of this relic has a 5+ invul against attacks made with ranged and melee weapons. That's pretty cool. This model gains 1 additional Dreadblade Pact and 1 additional damnation of your choice. So you get both. That's pretty cool. So you get one more upside, 1 more downside, and a 5+ invul in melee. The Putrid Carapace of Nurgle. When resolving an attack with a melee weapon against a model with this relic, if the saving throw is successful, roll a d6 on a 4+, take a mortal wound. Because you get all grossed by whatever comes out of your carapace. Bound Viridian Psychogeist. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model with this relic, on an unmodified wound roll of 6, the armor penetration characteristic of that weapon is improved by 1. The Traitor's Mark. Whilst the model from your army with this relic is within 12 of any enemy units, subtract 1 from the leadership characteristic of each of those units. While a model from your army with this relic is within 6 of any enemy units, subtract 2 from the leadership characteristic. So the closer you get, the scarier you are, basically. The Quicksilver Throne of Slaanesh, and you don't need marks, so like you can take any of these different like god named ones basically anywhere. When an advance or charge roll is made for a model with this relic, add 1 to the result. A model with this relic always fights first in the fight phase, even if they didn't charge. The Gauntlet of Ascension, model of Thunderstrike Gauntlet only. It's ×2 -4 6. When resolving an attack made with this weapon, you can reroll the hit roll and it can reroll the wound roll. When a character model is destroyed as a result of the attack made with this weapon, add 1 to the bearer's strength and 1 to their attack characteristic. And there's no minus to hit with it either. That's pretty great, actually. Yeah. So
you could bring Slaaneshi Dreadblade, who has +4 movement and +2 to the walker charge.
Yep.
And run out there and try and kill somebody right away.
And he can still be an Iconoclast.
He could be. Yeah.
Just go get him. And then, last but not least, we got our traits. And again, there's less traits in this book because there's no houses. There's not like an Infernal or a Iconoclast trait for this. It's just the 6 that you have. So number 1 is Infernal Quest. You have OBSEC. And if an enemy model also has a similar ability, you count as 10 models. And that's it. Harbinger of the Scrap Code. At the end of the movement phase, roll a d6 for each enemy vehicle is within 6. 4+ take a mortal wound. Knight Diabolus, +1 attack. Warp Haunted Hull. You can deny the witch as if you were a Psyker. In addition, when this warlord loses a wound as a result of a mortal wound, in the Psych phase, roll 1d6 and a 5+, it's not lost. You get a 5+ try against mortal wounds in the Psych phase. Eager for the Kill. When an advanced roll or charge roll is made for the warlord, add 1 to the result. In addition, add 1 to the warlord's attack characteristic if they're wholly within your opponent's deployment zone.
There you go. Now you've got +3. So you're really pushing to get that guy into their deployment on turn 1.
So many
Walk 16,
bonuses.
charge 2d6 +3.
A lot of attacks.
And then he's just all out. +1 to his attacks, so he's 7 attacks on the charge.
You're going to see a lot of Chaos Knights just charging across the table.
21 attacks on 2. Rerolling all to hit.
That's right. And then Aura of Terror, when a charge roll is made for the enemy within 12 of this warlord, subtract 1 from the result, so it's harder to charge you. When a morale test is taken for an enemy unit within 12 of the warlord, your opponent rolls 2d6, discards the lowest, or either result if they're the same. And then points values, you got your basic hull types. The Desecrator is 385. The Despoiler is 285. The Desecrator is a laser cannon one. The Despoiler is the one that can be anything, so it's the same base cost as an Imperial Knight, 285, and then pays for all its weapons. But if you take it with a Reaper Chainsword and Thunderstrike Gauntlet, it gets a discount and goes to 305. You only pay 20 points for 65 points worth of gear, which is pretty cool. You get a 45-point discount if you just take them as melee guys. If you take the Rampager, though, you still pay for your gear, and you're 320 points. So you're 385. You're 80 more points taking them with the Exploding Sixes. I'm
pretty sure it's going to add those points in there. I know it's not what it says.
It's okay. Why is there 2 entries?
Because this is the one if you only took that gear. That's if you limit yourself to only those, it doesn't.
Then why isn't it this one?
I'm just saying, because you get a stat mod too, right? Like it's not just
the stat mod's on your profile,
right? Because you took those 2 weapons.
Right.
So you have the reason why you cost the extra 20 points is because you got +1 attack and +1 weapon skill.
So
and then you pay for the cost of the melee
he's
weapons.
385 as opposed to 365 as opposed to being the 3.
So he's 370 instead of 385.
Yeah, 370 instead of 385.
So you're 15 points for the difference.
Cheaper.
It's the same like thing. He doesn't get the 6s exploding.
Yeah.
But it's only a 15-point difference, not a 85-point difference.
It's just confusing. So
it is a
because it says points per model not including war gear 305, but then
Right.
Knight Despoiler with 1 Reaper Chainsword and 1 Thunderstrike.
Yeah, because you gave him one of those in one of those.
Yeah, it's gonna need to be explained because it looks like that's the cost with those things,
But it excludes war gear.
but then excludes war gear.
And
So it's
there are other things that say including war gear. That's the only reason why it doesn't say including war gear. It just says with those things.
so
you
it's
give
either a
him those
discount
things.
or your penalty. We're not sure which.
It's not a discount. It's a bonus. You're paying a little bit more
Okay,
points to gain an
you're
attack
saying
and a hit.
I get it. You're saying it's one way. I don't know if that's true because I don't know. I guess. Okay, sure.
I don't think it's a 70 or 65 point bonus. I don't think you get a bonus to your stats and also 65 points off. That's basically how I see it.
That's fair. That's fair. It's just very confusing with the way it's described. Is that it says a Knight Despoiler with these things costs 305, but that's not including those things. So I'm just saying it's confusing. That's all.
Yep.
And then your Knight Rampager is 320, your Knight Tyrant is 500, and your War Dog is 160. And your War Dogs come in groups of 1 to 3. And then your Reaper Chain Cleaver is 0. The Reaper Chainsword's 30. Thunderstrike Gauntlet's 35. Same as the Imperial version. Avengers 85. Conflagration Cannon 0. All the Tyrant stuff is 0 because it's unique. You're paying 14 for Heavy Flamer, 2 for Heavy Stubber, Iron Storm Missile Pod 16, Melta Guns are 14, Plasma Decimators 40, Rapid Fire Battle Cannons 90, Shield Breaker Missiles are 15, Storm Spear Rocket Pods 45, Thermal Cannons 55, Thermal Spears 0, Thundercall Harpoons 0, Twin Icarus Autocannons 20, Twin Meltas are 0, Twin Siege Breakers are 35, Volcano Lance is 70, and a War Dog Autocannon is 5. So, pretty flat point values, and then all that's left in the book is your tactical objectives, and that's it. We're done. And there it is. So we have the new Chaos Knights for Warhammer 40,000. We played one game with them.
It's a night game.
It's a night game. It feels like they have a little less going on, but what they have going on is way more straightforward to combo. I think you're going to see a lot of the melee knights.
I mean, the night one was too. It was like, what was your flavor? Did you like double your remaining wounds or a few better items?
Yeah, it was a choice between strats and household abilities. But I've seen a lot of different households getting used. In this one, because I think you might just take 2. I think you might take both. I think you might take the baby detachment with the Preceptor variant, the Desecrator with the War Dogs, like leading them with autocannons, because then you can up their guns.
Yep.
Their guns get more powerful for like a fairly slow penalty.
I'm just trying to think of how these guys work in a Chaos army, right? Like your loyal 32 for Guardsmen makes sense, and then you're just playing a Knight army that also has a CP battery. But like, what does Chaos bring to the table that's interesting in its own that would like this kind of support?
Well, because they don't have the demon tag, they don't tend to combo with a lot of stuff in the new Chaos.
Right. But I mean, like, what do you use around these guys? Like, is it cultists? Do you just bring a bunch of cultists and have those guys around? Do you bring Abaddon and a bunch of Havocs with the new Gatling guns? Like, see, what are you...
Apart from the Strategems and the Relics, you're not getting a lot of new stuff that wasn't in Chapter Approved, though. Because the Heretic Knights were already in Chapter Approved. That's true. They already had access to all this stuff. People aren't necessarily
they have a kit now.
To get them. They have a kit now. That is a difference. Yeah, you can buy a kit now, which will be a difference. Would you take the Volcano Cannon Super Guns? Because you pay for the Volcano Lance. It's 70, I think. You actually pay for him, whereas you don't pay for like the Thundercall Harpoon or anything else. That one you actually pay for, which is 70. What's the other gun? The Plasma Decimator? It's 40. You actually pay 110 points that the other one doesn't spend for the Volcano, for the big Castellan variant. So he's 100 and... Yeah, he's 110, so he's 610 plus his shoulders, and his shoulders could be...
70 or more.
It's well, you can take either 2 missiles or 2. They're either 65, you take 2 missiles or 2 sets of missiles and the 1 cannon, or it's 2 cannons, which means it's 70, 85. It's 20 more points on either side.
Right.
He's looking at 700 points for the Volcano Lance and the ability to stand off and shoot, which is pretty cool, but Cass does that kind of well already. You shoot pretty well. The new demon stuff's pretty good. I think the cheapo knights running across the table.
Yeah.
They're the ones that look like they're good for me.
I mean, like, they don't really care. They don't care about what you bring around it. Bring whatever you want. Bring some CPs. It's probably what you're going to want to bring, because then you can use their abilities more. And then whatever you liked, whatever your personal, like, thing you liked. Did you like Havocs with the Gattlers? Did you want to bring Obliterators? Did you like whatever it is, you just bring that anyway. And also now you just have a guy who can deal with literally any problem that you might come across, because he runs across the board.
He runs across the board killing things.
Yeah.
He
takes forever to die.
He takes forever to die. Yes. Because you take the one where he's if you just take one, you take the one where he's always at full operating capacity until he gets below half. And then you make
until he gets to 6 wounds.
I mean, if you took a detachment that was 1 knight and 2 war dogs, let's say, you get 3 extra CPs. The war dogs are like, if you take the autocannon ones, they're only 5 points for the autocannons. So it's like
they're 170 points.
50 points each.
They're 60 base. 170
okay.
with the 2 autocannons. This is fine.
So 340 plus a big knight of some capacity.
Around 350 points. Maybe 80 or maybe 400 points if depending on how the wording is.
Chuck them into stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Take the melee knights maybe, or maybe take the melee armigers and just make them an infernal.
Well, you probably make him the melee one, and those guys just take the autocannons. Right. And then they just sit back and try and infernal their autocannons up.
Right. And you can spend a CP to give him the extra, to give him the relic where he's always operational up to, he doubles his wounds basically for his track. Yeah. Because that's what, if you only have one, you just take that.
Yep. And then you always sit on the CP, run a 4+, he comes back to life.
I think you take the Valiant, though. I think you take the auto-hitting flamethrower. The double Avengers is cool, but if you do an Infernal flamethrower, 3d6 hits at 3 damage.
Oh, for the big guy, the Tyrant?
Yeah. Take a Tyrant and 2 War Dogs. As like allies to... Because the Tyrant's not that expensive compared to the bigger version. Because his 2 guns are free. The Harpoon and the thing are free.
Right.
His multi-guns are free. So he's 500 plus... If you buy him 2 cannons, 70, and you buy him missiles, 85.
Do you even do that? Do you just shave those off and bring him just as a flamethrower running into melee?
You have
and
to
then
buy,
he goes into
you have to buy something for shoulders.
Oh, you have to buy it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's 585 plus 310. He's like 800 points. No, 900 points.
With his buddies.
With his 2 buddies. And you're getting 3 CPs, and you're getting 1 big knight and 2 little knights to like run across the table and kill stuff. And then you have like 1100 points to spend on the rest of your Chaos Army.
Or probably more like 800 points, because 1750's on its way.
That's true. Oof.
Yeah.
I don't
know. It's chaos. Like, they suffered a bad case of we don't know what to do with ourselves. I mean, I've got a Chaos Army now, and I kind of like them, and I see everyone spamming their Lord Discordance.
Yep.
I'm not worried about them. Like,
they were already here.
Go play Orcs, go play Tyranids, you'll be fine.
But I mean, the thing is, they were already here. They have a kit. That's the biggest change. They have a kit. They have some stratagems. The Infernal.
I hope it can make a standalone one. I really hope it's not.
It is. It's a standalone knight, and then the extra bits to decorate your war dogs and
your other guy. Yeah, like I that's what I'm really hoping. I hope it's not just an upgrade. I hope it's not just to replace
stuff on
the
that frame. I think to make one, and then it's kind of like the.
But you'll need the other guy to get the other arms and the other bits like that.
It's the Grey Hunter box, right, where you got the bits for your Space Wolf Scouts and your Long Fangs like in the same frame. Right. So you're gonna get all the decorations basically to make like your Castellan, your Valiant, your whatever extra guy basically. You're gonna have lots of leftovers to decorate your other knights, I think is the idea. So yeah, it's cool. It's a cool. If you're already playing Renegade Knights, you're gonna be super excited about it. And if you're playing Chaos and weren't using a knight, maybe now you'll go out and pick one up because you have a kit that you can just go buy.
Yeah, and you have rules that put you on par with the other knights.
Yeah,
like the other knights have their own kind of gimmick. You have your own kind of gimmick. Yeah. I think you have a solid shot at it if you brought an Infernal Knight with the trait that makes it so you can only be wounded on a 4+, and you go to just beat up other knights. Like, that's what the guy is in your army. It's just him. He runs as fast as he can. You give him every ability you can to make him move as fast as he can, and he gets into melee with one and tries to kill it.
And 2+, all the million. And you give him the super chainsaw, the super fist. The super fist is pretty great. The strength 16 super fist where it hits on 2s.
Well, I'm thinking you give him the +1 to charge and run and always fight first.
Yeah,
and then he just goes after whatever he wants to fight, and you beat them up. And if they fight you back in melee, well, they can only wound you on 4s, so they're probably going to stomp at you. You're pretty tough against stomping.
You'll probably just kill them.
And you'll make yourself toughness 9 every time. That's right. That's how you'll deal with it. Then they're wounding you on 5s or 4s at best.
I think I would, if I'm doing the melee one, I think I would take the Iconoclasts. Because then you're getting +1 attack for free on the charge and also additional AP on your weapon, which means nothing in the game is getting a save really unless it doesn't involve save in combat.
Which you could then take away.
Which you could, well, if you take the Horny Relic. I think if you're going to do that like Suicide Squad, you go with the Relic Fist, Iconoclast, and then make him a Dreadblade so you can get the Dreadblade ability.
Well, you just make him to kill knights. Like he's the... You
that's what I'm saying. He'll do that in melee. Like he'll just run across the table and do that in melee. I guess you're not getting 2 relics in the same guy though.
No.
So you can't take the Super Gauntlet and also be always above half. But you give him a Warlord trait, which can give him an additional attack. So now he's got 5, 6 on the charge, 7 for the Warlord trait. He has 7 attacks on 2s with Thunderstruck Gauntlet. Strength 16.
Reroll the hit for 2 CPs.
And he can give him a vow, and he can't give him a vow. Because the Iconos can take a vow. They can take the Beast Light reroll against a wound.
Or you take the +1 of the damage and AP of your weapon.
That's right. Yeah.
And he's got a ×2.
Yeah, he's Infernal though. He's
7.
Infernal.
Oh, that's right, Infernal. Yeah, that's right.
You gotta remember, the problem is you can't mix those 2 things.
Right,
and the free all the time +1 attack on the charge with -1 AP is pretty great. So anyway, I think there it is. We're done our review of Codex Chaos Knights. It adds
Codex Chaos Knights.
It's lots of codexes and chaoses. It's fun. It adds more if you're already excited about this. And the biggest thing here is the new kit, and this just enables you to enjoy that kit. So if you were looking to add Knight to your Chaos Army, especially if it was just like a standalone
if you were sad that you were playing against Space Marine players and you're like, we're basically the same thing right now, only you have knights that are good. Now you also have knights that are good.
And you can buy, you can get a 3 CP
leveling
battalion.
It all in.
If you buy the 1 new Renegade Knight Kit and 1 box of, let's say, armigers, you have a whole super heavy detachment. You have all the bits to make those 2 armigers chaosy. And there's literally a build in here for you. You know what I mean? Like there's a build to go do that. So like the book complements the kit release really well, and it means that if you just wanted to buy 2 kits, you could have a new whole detachment for your Chaos Army. Which I think is cool. That's a good way of Workshop's been really good at comboing here's the product releasing, here's the rules that support that product, and here's the way that we're making this easy for you as a consumer to go and get it and enjoy it right away. So this is, as far as like product design goes, it's 5 out of 5. How it does on the table, I think it's gonna do fine because it's just knights. It's just the same Knight Army with a chaos flair, basically.
Instead of the Imperial soup, it'll be a Chaos Knight with a Chaos soup.
With Chaos soup, just adds more to the soup mixes, basically. So anyway, we'll see you for more reviews in the future. Big thanks for doing this with me and you guys for watching. Till next time on MASH. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to support the channel, of course, like and subscribe and hit the little bell below to get notifications when I post future content. I do post stuff 7 days a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can, of course, buy a t-shirt through Spreadshirts, buy a measuring gauge or objective markers from Death Ray Designs, or, of course, most importantly, there is Patreon. Patreon is what makes all this possible, keeps the lights on, pays for the studio costs, pays for the equipment, model costs, and everything else, and most importantly, puts food in my kids' bellies and a roof over their heads. Big thanks to everyone, past, future, who supported me. I do this stuff because of you guys, and of course, I will continue doing it as long as I can.